مرحبا بكم جمهورنا الكريم. ضيفي هذه الليلة الرقم 1 في العالم العربي من لاعبي الجوجيتسو، الحاصل على الحزام الأسود الدرجة الخامسة، وهو أعلى لاعب عربي في العالم، إنه الماستر سامي الجمل. مرحبا كوتش سامي.
حبيبي أهلين، كيف الحال عمار؟
Fine, الحمد لله كوتش. How's things? رمضان كريم.
Well, very good. Alhamdulillah. Always good.
Always good.
Everybody in the house not training jiu-jitsu, but it's all good. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, inshallah, يعني soon this pandemic will finish. We'll back again to our normal life, which is we miss our normal life.
Yeah, we were happy and we didn't know.
Yeah, big time, coach, big time. طيب, coach, I want just introduction. Who is Sami Al-Jamal? Your journey, I think, just tell us about you born in Brazil, when your family moved to Brazil, because we like to share this information with the new generation that we have an idols in Arab country in Jiu-Jitsu.
Habibi, I started Jiu-Jitsu in Brazil, I think in '89. It's a funny story. I was already a brown belt in karate. I was already very accomplished in judo. I was already, I used to box. And I went to a gym and the guy said, no, go train with that little kid there. Train jiu-jitsu with him. Try to hit him. Basic old style jiu-jitsu. The kid went like this. I tried to hit him. He grabbed me, took me to the ground. My judo didn't work. He tapped me out. I said, what the hell is this, man? I want to train this. I want to train this. بس خلينا نجرب كمان مرة. I went again with the kid, the same thing. I took my back, I exploded, I got up, I jumped to هذا الولد. So I started training jiu-jitsu. I fell in love with it, and ever since I never quit. I got all my belts from my same teacher, which is something very important, very rare nowadays. I got all my belts and all my dance from Fabricio, and I still compete under Fabricio's name, and I still train under Fabricio's name, and I still carry his name with me everywhere. Right here is the shirt, Fit Jiu-Jitsu, and another thing that's very important. Up to today, I've been out of Brazil for 15 years. I still pay monthly my membership in his gym.
That's so nice, coach.
For 15 years. Anyways, so I started my journey, got my black belt with him. I've been competing since '91. So basically, I've been competing for 29 years.
MashaAllah.
And it's no easy task. I'm in the Masters Division, alhamdulillah, in the UAJJF. In the JJIF, I'm #1. And IBJJF, I got second this year on the World Championship, but I won the Europeans in January. So I've been competing at the highest level against the best people in the world, the best coaches in the world, and been doing very well, alhamdulillah, training only in Jordan.
That's good, coach. طيب, I knew myself as Ammar. I knew Coach Sami in ADCC. We want to tell us about that period of time in your life.
When ADCC came out, we didn't know where is the Emirates in Brazil. And in Brazil, we know the States, we know a little bit of Europe, we know Japan, but anything in between, we don't know what it is, you know. So Andu had a tournament, Arab country. Arabs, they do jiu-jitsu, and so I saw it in a magazine, an ad, and I went and I sent them a message. They replied to me. They were shocked that there was an Arab that at the time was brown, almost black belt. That was in the first one was '89, huh?
Yeah, the first one.
99.
No, the first one is
98.
98. The one you came is 99, I think.
Yeah, 99. I was there. I think I was already a black belt. It was a 99, the black belt. and they're going, wow, man, this is crazy. You have to come. We came, me and my cousin. We came. We competed. And people think it was easy, the fights, but there are other Arabs around the world that were also very solid fighters, like Muhammad Jihad from Brazil, that won 3 times. Antoine, a beast. You had like all these wrestler Arabs from the States. You had all these judo fighters that were very strong. So it was not easy. It was not easy at all. And alhamdulillah, we did well. And it was the best experience in our lives to be with all the MMA top fighters, the best jiu-jitsu fighters in the world, the best catch wrestling fighters in the world, the best judo fighters in the world, the best wrestlers from the US. It was a dream come true. And we represented well the Arabs, and we did very well. Probably that was your first taste of that we Arabs are doing jiu-jitsu. And I remember you were in the organization, a little bit more hair at the time, and we stuck together for a while.
Yeah, we came all of us just to support the Arabs. I was an organizer, but at the same time we support the Arab. Coach Sami, Hani, Jamal, even Antoine, Muhammad Jihad, the guys we don't know, and even some of them they can't speak English. Like Muhammad Jihad, he can say maybe marhaba in Arabic, nothing. But as an Arabic blood, we always love to support the people that they represent us.
And I felt like a superstar, man. We had more cheering than the foreigners. And when we were fighting, all the Arabs were with us. We felt like we felt so much value in the heart, and the cheering. It was an amazing experience for us.
I think we have to have another episode, Coach, just to say the history from ADCC, because there's a lot of things to talk about ADCC with the big matches like Marker with Zemario, Marker with the owner for Checkmat. I think also Ricardo Orono with Ricardo Almeida. I still remember that fight. There's a lot of things. A lot of things to say.
We have so many things to talk about, and the behind the scenes, the conversation in the warm-up area, because we're all there together for a whole day.
So I need a promise from you, just to have this. We are gonna call it ADCC history or ADCC memories from your side, to say it to the new generation, the guys and the girls they are representing our sport now.
The most beautiful thing about ADCC, and we started the next meeting like this, is that we as Arabs were fighting on the same mats and with the same people that have hundreds of years of history in wrestling and judo and jiu-jitsu, and we were fighting there on the mats. It gave us a huge platform to be fighting with the best in the world and be exposed to the best in the world in the same level. If you remember the final of the absolute weight, they did all the finals, and then they did my final, and then they did the absolute final thing. So we were like the co-main event. That was huge for Arabs.
And Bruce Buffer was the announcer.
Yes, Bruce Buffer was the announcer. Yeah. And we connected. We became friends. Bruce Buffer was very new in the business.
Yeah,
he's the
superstar now. Huh?
Yeah, a superstar. But at the time, he was very new. Like, we don't understand all these strong guys, muscular, fighting all day. But he does what he does best, and he did it very well. Yeah. And he gave so much glory to the event. But it was fun.
Even I still remember the introduction, what he's saying, welcome to the beautiful Abu Dhabi.
Yes.
It was nice. It was nice. Really, it was a nice time. Okay, Coach, inshallah we will do ADCC memories and history. Now let's let's go inside the jiu-jitsu. I want from you an explanation. Why? Not everybody's complaining, everybody's blaming us. Jiu-jitsu, jiu-jitsu, you're talking a lot about jiu-jitsu. I don't know why some of them like try to say it's an ugly sport. You don't know what's going on. You goes on the ground. Okay, it's a game, but I want just to tell the people from an expert, from the guy who has almost 6 degrees in black belt, why jiu-jitsu and what's the secret behind jiu-jitsu. While you have to spend a lot of years to get from belts to belts. It's not like other sports. You can get it within a month or within a year, and there is a time limit to be a black belt. All these complication, but still we are in love with the jiu-jitsu.
Yes, it's a very good question. Okay, and I can say that I'm entitled to answer that question because I almost accomplished in many other martial arts a black belt, and I trained many other martial arts. So I'm a black belt second dan in judo. I'm karate black belt, kung fu, Wing Chun brown belt. I trained the freestyle, which is without the gi. And they call it in Brazil luta livre for many years. Yeah, I boxed for over 10 years. I've done kickboxing. So I'm very, and currently I'm an MMA coach with all that knowledge giving it to my Jarrah Silawi, everybody knows. Ali Gacy are my students and very successful in MMA. So we start, okay, jiu-jitsu, if you're outside and you don't know the rules, jiu-jitsu is very ugly. Looking from the point of view of a viewer, there is no excitement when you don't understand the grip fighting, the body position, the time that the person is not exploding and why, the advantage, the psychological game of the points. So when you know jiu-jitsu, you know all those things. So when you look at it, it's a lot of fun. You know, it's like the Formula One. If you know all the rules and everything that's happening in the Formula One, it's a lot of fun. But if you don't know on the third lap, you're bored. I don't want to see this anymore. Exactly. You know, jiu-jitsu, you have to be very educated in the sport of jiu-jitsu to understand it and have fun while looking at it. So that's on the part of the competition, and on the part of it's an ugly sport. You hold and you hug and you're sweating on the other person, and the gi stinks. You know, all these things come up. And why do you do this day in, day out, and you're getting hurt and you're getting injured? And why do you want to do jiu-jitsu for that long of a period of time if it's only bad things? People have to understand that if we're willing to go through all these bad things and we keep going, there's some secret behind it.
Exactly.
You know, and I always say it. The best secret is the feeling that you have after the jiu-jitsu class. And you cannot understand that if you don't know how to play jiu-jitsu, and you need a minimum of 1 to 2 years training every day to understand that feeling of jiu-jitsu, you know? Because yes, you do get injuries. Like it's a martial arts sport, and sometimes you get smelly guys because they sweat and they don't shower. And yes, you both people are hugging each other and breathing on each other's face. Yeah, it's a weird sport, but the feeling that you have afterwards, I always call it, it's like a drug from God. You feel high, but everything is natural. The whole feeling is unbelievable. There's no better feeling in the world after you have a good day of rolling and training. And that connection with the person, you know, that exchange of strength and power and resistance and sweat and technique, the chess game that happens with your body while you're fighting with somebody else, and you're able to beat them in a chess game or in the power game or something else. and you reach the goal with all that obstacle, everything against you, that's something that makes you feel amazing, you know? And I always say that it takes 4 years to get a degree in college. It takes you 10 years to get your black belt in jiu-jitsu. You know, you're a professor, you're a teacher, you know, as a black belt. Yani I've studied more probably than any doctor studied in the world. He chose a better career, he makes more money, but I don't think that he's as happy as I am. And I think happiness is something that is more important to you than money.
Yeah.
So we study a lot, but people don't give credit to that. People don't understand how much you have to study to be a good jiu-jitsu fighter, how much knowledge you have to learn, and how much
sacrifice you have to give.
Yeah, how much you have to live the life of jiu-jitsu. You know, I can't like go out and party, go out and stay late, and the next day be able to train well with a hungry young guy that is all muscular and dying to use all the submissions that he learned on YouTube on you. Can't do that. You know?
Exactly.
So you have to live a life of a samurai. And that's the beautiful part of jiu-jitsu. If you don't live the life of a samurai, you can't survive on the mats. And the more that you train jiu-jitsu, like somebody like you or somebody like me who have years of jiu-jitsu, you even have to take care of it even more, because it's like an old car with a big engine that if you don't take care of it, it will explode. So that also is an art in itself. How do you grow older training jiu-jitsu? You know, you can train jiu-jitsu until you're 70, 80 years old. So when you train jiu-jitsu at that age, you have to fine-tune everything in your life, and that fine-tuning makes you live a better life. So those are the things, the invisible parts of jiu-jitsu that people don't see, and only going through that journey for many years, they will understand.
Nice exhibition, coach. Also, people complain about jiu-jitsu. Why after the class, we have to sit minimum 10, 15 minutes or sometimes half an hour after the class sittings. I think we are the only sport, or jiu-jitsu is the only sport, all the fighters or participants is doing this. What's the secret behind this?
You went, I'm going to try to be as clear as possible to this, okay? You went into aggressive sport. So the guy is trying to choke you. The guy is trying to put your arm in danger, trying to put your foot in danger. He puts his chest on your face and squeezes you for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, one guy after the other, okay? And this is not a life and death situation. You're training to become better in jiu-jitsu, okay? But if you go with all that high intensity and then you don't cool down with something, people are going to come back to the training the next day. If I got tapped out by that guy 3 times, 4 times, I got tapped out by everybody, as a new person, I'm going to leave and come back, I want to kill somebody.
For that I love, because I knew what you're going to say.
So,
exactly.
So you have to break the ice. You have to bond with people. So people have to talk after class. They have to bond. They have to bond somehow in order to make this a friendly thing, a family thing. Because you broke sweat together. Sometimes you exchange blood together. Sometimes you hurt the person by mistake. Sometimes you were too rough and you had a bad day. You didn't train right. So you have to break the ice and you have to make that connection between the person and the fighter. That's why you should talk and have a conversation after class.
That sounds good. Another question is related to jiu-jitsu. Also, coach, if someone want to go deep in jiu-jitsu, all his life, all his friend will be like surrounded by somehow related to jiu-jitsu. Even we get closer to each other's hangouts, dinners, even we goes to the family, because we are just playing the same sport, while we are sometimes different countries, different religions, different regions, but because this is a small thing, people consider jiu-jitsu, we all get together.
So the question is, why everybody around you becomes part of your friends, your family, everybody's jiu-jitsu.
Yes. Yani all our life will be surrounded by jiu-jitsu. I'm going to choose my friend, all my close friends, I'm going to give them from the sport I'm doing. I'm going to hang with them, travel with them, even sometimes goes to the families, introduce them to my family.
Yeah, طبعا, and there's many things, you know, like my mom watches jiu-jitsu fights. My father took 10 years to say the word jiu-jitsu, but he understands the sport, you know, غصب عنهم. My sisters, they go and they compete, they travel with me to see my competitions. That's my family. Hala, the rest, like I said before, jiu-jitsu is a lifestyle, you know. The more amount of time you put, the more you're gonna get back, and there's no end. It's an ocean. Yeah, imagine you have to fill up an ocean. You're never gonna be able to fill up an ocean.
Exactly.
So no matter how much you give into jiu-jitsu, it's still not enough. So it ends up your friends being. I'll tell you, all my friends were from high school. When I started jiu-jitsu, nowadays all my friends are jiu-jitsu. I moved away from my friends in high school and I stayed with my friends in jiu-jitsu. Why? Because you're spending so much time learning, studying, teaching, fighting, training, competing. All these things, they take many hours of your day and your life. So they end up becoming close to you. And there's something about exchanging sweat with a human being that they're going to explain in the future that makes them closer. You know? When somebody has your arm and you know that he can break it, and he knows that he can break it and he stops to save you, that creates a relationship that is a very strong bond. When somebody chokes you and you can tell that the person can hurt you and put you out, but they don't. Or when somebody is a higher belt, takes care of a white belt on the mats, makes him grow like a puppy until he becomes good. And then that person at one point is going to beat the guy that taught him. And that sequence is going to keep going. That creates a very strong bond. And people get bonded together and they become a family that is not by blood, but is by sweat, you know, by believing and trusting each other. In the battlefields, the gladiators, they were inside there, man, sitting there. They were the family. When they rebelled against Rome, they rebelled against the biggest army in the world. They were gladiators like us. The only difference is that they would die on the day that they fight. And they rebelled against the biggest army in the world, the biggest civilization, and they beat them. So there's something about bonding that's very important that happens in fighting, and it becomes your life.
And if you allow me, I have to salute you for this wording, Coach. I have to. Now, the last thing about Jiu-Jitsu. Now, what we said, it's everything, yani, all about Jiu-Jitsu. It's tough, sweat. I want to just know from a master, what's the fun part of Jiu-Jitsu?
The fun part?
Yes.
Man, as a master, as a coach,
as a student, as a master, as a coach, now you are on you had all these stages. So this interview for everyone, for the kid who is 10 or 5 years old, who is trying jiu-jitsu, or 7 years old, to the guy who wanna have his own business, he wanna open his own academy. I wanna just tell all those, what's the fun part? Also for the outsiders, the guys, they look at us as we are weirdos.
Yeah, حلقة is an interview on its own. Okay, but let me go back from the beginning. Jiu-jitsu was not mainstream before, So we were the weirdos with the weird big ears, looking like ogres that don't talk too much. But nowadays is the opposite. Jiu-jitsu has become mainstream, and people respect the jiu-jitsu fighters, kind of like they used to respect the samurai, and they used to respect the sumo fighters, what they still do in Japan. The sumo, they're royalty sumo fighters in Japan. You know, they go to restaurants, the people don't charge them. They go in the city, people, and they're royalty sumo fighters in Japan. They're considered the royalty part of Japan. And the jiu-jitsu fighters, they're getting much more respect from the population and people. And I see that every day because I'm a jiu-jitsu fighter, and people had the captain ta'al, faddal, وهيك, and people take really good care of me because of jiu-jitsu and because of my accomplishments for Jordan. So there is a very nice feeling that we're getting somewhere, at least with the appreciation of people that are outside. That was not the case. We were the bums that like to fight. Now we have the respect of the people, and people are opening business like yourself, myself, many people have schools. And the most important thing, I want to go there so I can wrap around with starting with the kids. We take care of the education of the kids and building the character of that kid with the language of jiu-jitsu. We're able to use the tool of jiu-jitsu to build a better human being. There is no bigger power than this. And I've been teaching for over 20 years. I've seen this with my own eyes through my students that started as kids, graduated from college, got their black belts, they have work. I haven't seen one of those kids that have not been successful. And you look at them, you can tell the difference. You know, this is a very good story. My son goes to a school here called IAA. So the head coach of the school came to me and said, "What do you guys do in jiu-jitsu? I can walk in." He goes, "I don't know jiu-jitsu. I walk into a class and I know who's the jiu-jitsu fighter and who's not the jiu-jitsu fighter."
Wow.
So one time I went to pick up my son there. So I walked into the class. It was a zoo, kids jumping, everything, everywhere. And I walked into the class to get my son. There were 20 kids. 3 of them were jiu-jitsu fighters. They trained with me. They all stopped and stayed standing up like this. They were playing with them, but they stopped. They stayed up. They stood up like this, and the rest continued. And they kept looking like this. Then everybody stopped and looked at me. So that's the power of jiu-jitsu. So when you say the fun part, imagine that you can create an art, build an art inside your son, and build a character inside your son that's going to help him succeed in life. The fun part is that kid is going to start already in a line that's straight, a line that is going to make him successful with everything. Because if you can be good in jiu-jitsu, you know that you have to have respect, you have to be loyal, you have to have consistency, you have to have so many good characters in order to become successful in jiu-jitsu that helps you out automatically in life. You know, I have many examples that I explained to. So when we went to teach in a social project, and the girls, Rana Ulama, helped me out on this, or Naeem, when the first they came in, they didn't know what hygiene was. They didn't understand hygiene. So by teaching them how to be hygienic, how to be clean on the mats, how to clean the mats, how to have their gis always clean, that went inside their houses. They started asking the parents and the family to be like that. So jiu-jitsu even helps inside the house. So the fun part of the kids, taban, they're moving around, they're using natural movements of their body, they're acting like a lion, how a lion attacks a person, how a monkey jumps into it. So they're much more in base with reality, with nature. They're not like in the house playing PlayStation and these things, they're not real. The guy can play and stop life all the time. So that stays into his head. When he goes into a place where he has to fight, he has to earn the respect inside the mats, it makes a kid different, you know. And if you can build that up as a coach, and they can understand that the journey, they're going to have so much fun in their lives. Because by the time that they're 9 and 10, just the fact that they have the self-confidence that nobody in that class can beat them up, that alone is huge. So going up to at a higher age when they start understanding jiu-jitsu, it's beautiful for you to see that the kid's actually applying technique and applying the thing. And the kid is happy because he's learning how to move his body in 3D. Yani he's an athlete like nobody else, you know. And then when you go back to the 14-year-olds and you see that all that work, that base that you put in on the 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds, and you see that technique really refining, that's amazing for you as a coach. And for the kids now, they learned that jiu-jitsu is their lifestyle. So there's nothing better for the kid to feel when he looks at other kids. So I don't smoke, I don't drink, I live a life of a healthy person. I go and I train and I burn my body into something healthy. I feel like there is a feeling of superiority, but in a positive way, not a negative way. I feel superior because I know that I accomplished so much by training jiu-jitsu. And taban, you know, like when people become adults, when you build a world champion, you're very happy. And for that person, you change their lives. I have many examples in my school, but jiu-jitsu is life-changing. You're the cheapest psychiatrist in the world as a coach. You change the person's lives. So it's fun for everybody. But you have to trust and you have to invest. There's nothing in life. If you're a businessman, there's nothing in life. There's no solution for you to not invest and be happy. Only bad things are that fast. The things that you have to invest on, which is family, your business, and a martial arts like jiu-jitsu, you have to take the time and you have to believe and you have to trust.
Thank you, Coach. Now, as a jiu-jitsu, what jiu-jitsu helps Coach Sami Al-Jamal in his life? How he get benefits of jiu-jitsu, Coach Sami, in his life?
Okay, so I'm going to make a small, this is me as a white belt, blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, black belt, 1 dan, 2 dan, 3 dan,
Nice.
4 dan, 5 dan, you know? You just look at life in a completely different way than anybody else looks. And you understand that the process of life is to continuously to study and to live the way of the samurai, which is to serve. The more you serve people, the more you help people, no matter what the consequences are, you don't change yourself. And the more you train jiu-jitsu, the brighter, the more broad your vision is. And that's scientific, by the way, Ahmad. When you work your muscles and when you work your body in the way that jiu-jitsu works, in every angle, you have to develop your brain. Your brain has to develop in many, many parts. And the senses that you have in your brain, okay, we don't have only the senses of scent, taste, vision, ear, and touch. Those are not the only senses. There's a whole different number of senses that you develop in jiu-jitsu. For example, proprioception, the ability to know where your body is in accordance to anything else around you. You do this with jiu-jitsu. You have to develop your brain. So you develop your brain, you develop your body, and you develop your body, and develop your brain. And it's always a development thing until the end of your life. And that's the most beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu. And you understand that serving and being humble is the most important thing.
Also, jiu-jitsu doesn't help Coach Sami in his ups and downs in his life.
Yeah, I always call it's an anchor. I've seen so many people, man, go to the lowest of the bottom of their lives, and they never thought they could reach that low. And what would they do is they would come to Fabrizio at the time, and they would sit on the mat. So don't even have to train. Just watch everybody training until he picks himself up. Then he starts training. Then he starts feeling good about himself. And then jiu-jitsu saves lives, man. It really saves lives, you know. I don't want to try to sound like somebody that's trying to brainwash people, but I've been in the business for 31 years, almost never missed a day of training. So I've seen a lot, and it saves lives. And at the same time, you see a lot of successful people that are black belts in jiu-jitsu, because you look at them in a different way, you look at the world in a different way, you look at business in a different way. And jiu-jitsu helps you a lot to hit a different level, even with your family, the way you treat your family, you know?
Thank you, Coach. Let's go now about your journey when you decide to leave, why you decide to leave Brazil. You're born and grew up in Brazil.
Yes.
Why you decided to leave and to go back to live to your at Jordan?
And I came here because my father bought a company in Jordan, and the company was not doing well. So he decided that it was time for me to come back and help him out. And I came back to help him out. After 3 years, that his company was finally well and everything was working out, he goes, "Go do what you love." And I said, I'm gonna teach jiu-jitsu to my people. I'm gonna go there and give my people all the knowledge that I have, that I know that is very difficult to find here.
When is that? When is that, Coach? When you moved to Jordan? Which year?
2004.
Wow.
2004. Zaid Mirza was already here. He welcomed me the best way possible. I like to always put that in case, because people think Sami and Zaid Mirza have a problem. I don't have a problem with Zaid Mirza. Zaid Mirza was the nicest guy ever to me when I came to Jordan, really showed me around, took really good care of me. I trained at his gym in the beginning because I didn't open a school, and was very welcome there. People didn't understand how a small guy can tap out big guys and control them. We had the Arab mentality, so people used to push hard on the training. But it was then I decided to open my first gym here in Jordan, and I opened it with Tariq Kalimat, who was a very good friend. Became friends and partners, and we did very well. We grew very fast, very big. We had a killer team of fighters. If we maintained that team, we probably would have one of the best teams in the world. At top fighters, you know, a lot of them, and the team was very, very strong. And the class, there is no place for people to sit, you know. Sometimes we used to make fun that we would put people jumping on the bar, on the ground sprawling, and on the wall doing squats because there's not enough place. And we grew as a team called the Source MMA. And that's the beginning of my journey, actually.
For how many years you stayed with the Source MMA until you guys just split it and you have your own Zero Mat 5? For how many years you have you are in Source?
So me and Coach Tariq, we founded the Source MMA. So we were I didn't come here. I didn't start teaching in 2004, by the way. I started teaching in 2006 because I was very busy with my dad. So I would say then I think in 2007 is when we started the team. From 2007 to 2014, I think.
Wow.
7 years.
Big journey. Can we know why this split have? Because to be honest, like in Arab countries, we're a small community. Everyone is asking, even myself, what's going on? Why this split have happened? While you have a killer there, you are the jiu-jitsu coach. You are the main jiu-jitsu coach. If you allow me, can we know the story why? What's behind this?
Man, look, when you give power to people, or when people sense power, they sometimes don't know how to deal with power. Yani, I have to respect my journey with Tariq Kalimat, and all those people at the end of the day, they're part of my journey. The students that stayed with me, or the students that didn't stay with me, they cannot deny that they were my students. So I have to have all the respect with these people. A couple of people there in that equation were very sick people. They need to be treated as people, but I still respect them. And I have to. This is a natural thing, Ahmad. Any country in the world that you start a martial arts, and I knew that was going to happen. Okay, I knew from day one that the team is going to split, because anywhere in the world that you start a big team, you know, it will break down. And people should not think this is only Arab thing or American thing or Brazilian thing. This all happens all over the world. It's the way that it happens that's a problem. The way we Arabs do it, we don't like part away. It's like, I part and I want to destroy you. Okay, you don't deserve to be in the same area, in the same business as me. I want to destroy you. So they spend more time trying to destroy you, which ends up destroying themselves, than actually trying to build something, a community that everybody makes money out of it. You know, because they keep their focus is on negativity, not positivity. They have to focus on positive things so everybody makes money. And we cannot have the Bedouin mentality, with all the respect but that there is not enough water, food, that we have to destroy and get into wars. No, yeah. We have to be together, man. And the Corona is going to be the best example for it when we come back. Everybody's going to be weak, and I want to see what's going to happen, you know? So going back to Tariq Kalimat, the Shabab, you know, I have to respect that I was part of that journey, and I was part of everything that happened. And eventually we had to split. To me, and I just want to split it from the other side. It was not a positive split. And I just left my way, and I knew that I can build something new, and I can build something that I believe in, you know. And that's what I did, you know. And
Coach, you are the only jiu-jitsu coach in that team since you started, right?
As far as jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, yes.
Yeah, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I mean, all those guys, they got black belt at source. They started with you, and they got black belts is under you, right?
Yes.
So when you guys build this team, there is some guys is doing jiu-jitsu, or they moved from other clubs, or there is some guys they are doing jiu-jitsu in source before you.
No, not Fia. There's nobody that were doing. We started the class. Me and Tariq Kalimat, we started the class with 7 people.
Okay, and now you split. You have your own team is Mad 05 finally.
Let me get our team split into 5 teams.
Okay.
Our team split into 5 teams.
If you would like to talk about it.
Talk a little bit about it, because it might be boring. I think it's better to send people a message than actually talk about the history. That it was more like for my experience. But Rami, Rami stayed Minotauro team in Palestine.
Okay.
The Rashid kids became Shakmat.
Okay.
The Tariq Kalimat, the Source MMA, the Source team became another Shakmat, another version of Shakmat. Okay. Zid Khurma became Atos. And Sami Jamal stayed Fit Jiu-Jitsu Sami Jamal. And the whole army, Tarak, stayed with me. And we had a huge program with the army.
Yeah, I was with you one day. I have pictures there. I love it. Yani, I will tell the story. You took us there to teach them. When I saw them, like, with all the respect and love to them, like jumping like monkeys, I said, what we're gonna teach those guys, you know? I don't know. That time I was black belt. I can't remember which year. I was sitting in the mat just watching them in love. What those guys they're doing, to be honest, and with all respect to you and to them.
Very dangerous. So the whole army stayed with me. Now I have 8 black belts in the Darak. Come on.
MashaAllah.
Other than my black belts.
But they are still with you.
They're still with me. They come with me.
Yeah. It's people can read between the lines still because they're Darak, they're army. They know we are a martial arts.
Yes.
We are an army. Okay, coach, continue, please.
And they're still I'm still graduating them. They come to my gym and they get the belts, and they now the first 8 black belts got their first Dan command.
MashaAllah.
So it's all good. So the team split. It's funny to see. You see who's right, who's wrong now when you see the results now. You know. It's not who did what and split why, and why did you do this, and why do you do this to me, you don't do this to him, why do you give this to this guy, you don't give this to this guy. The split happened. I left and I started from zero. I did not call one single student to come and train with me. And because we were in a gym, in a big gym, I didn't want to call people. So to be honest, I don't want to call somebody that's paying for that gym to come and train with me, because I don't think that is loyal for me to take a client from another gym. So everybody that came because they love me, they believe in my work, and they came back to me. And most of the people that were the competitors, most of the people that are out there training every day came with me. The first 5 black belts that I graduated did not stay with me, which is something that a story on its own. Imagine you graduate your first 5 black belts and they all leave with Tariq Kalimat at that time.
I was, to be honest, I was shocked. And as you said, when you reach a black belt, you should know and respect the guy who gives you the black belt, because the journey itself, it should teach you a lot. When someone put a black belt in your waist, it's something you can feel it more than you can talk about it.
Yeah, of course. Look, I suffered a lot. I had to heal myself to understand why is this happening to me, and use this to become a better coach. And if this did not happen, I would have never improved myself as a coach. You know, I read coaching books at least one a month maybe for 5 years now. I've read more than 20 books on coaching. I read books about successful coaches, their life story as coaches. And what I thought was I was like a bad ass, sorry of the word, that I knew it all because I knew the technique. But I understood that actually those 5 black belts that left my gym were the best teachers I ever had in my life.
Wow. How coach, can you explain to us just the benefits or the story behind it?
Yeah, so for example, let's say like my coach says, I've never seen a bigger betrayal in my life, for you to go and give 5 black belts and these 5 black belts leave you.
Yep.
Taban, there is part of it is the, like in Jordan, it's more important to have the friendship than actually the martial arts. There isn't too much credit that they give you here to the coach. But the important thing here is that in life, when you, for example, when you learn something from somebody, you should be grateful to that person for the rest of their lives.
Exactly.
And then if you learn something, you should be grateful to that person. At no point or any point in your life, what that person taught you, we know, man, we see the guy crawling in the mat. You see that he can get hurt and get injured on the mat. And when you take that person, you take him all through the journey of black belt, and he doesn't give you the credit, does that tell you something about you or about that person?
Exactly.
Tells you something about that person.
Yes.
Because
exactly.
you did your job. You took him on his hands and gave him all the way to the black belt.
Exactly.
So
coach.
the first thing is the best thing for it to happen is for those guys that left me and they thought they could do better, for them to go and teach. That was the lesson for them.
Yes.
Because now they're gonna see how hard it is, And just out of curiosity, out of those 5 guys, none of them are teaching anymore because they saw how hard it is to teach.
I know this because I'm in the social media. I didn't see anyone has his own academy or open his own gym or even teaching in another gym.
Yeah, so imagine what kind of lesson that these people learned. But I myself, for example, my dream was to make black belts in my life. So my first 5 black belts, they go away from me. I said, man, there's something wrong with me in my head. There's something wrong in me.
Yeah, I know.
You start
talking to yourself.
Yeah, start not believing yourself. Yeah, what did I do wrong here? What did I do wrong? So you start asking for, although you're a black belt and you're a master, you start asking for their approval because you think you're doing something wrong, When you realize that then things start opening up like this and you start seeing your mistakes. And because you have the good intentions, you start improving yourself and trying to become better, because humans, they don't have a limit of learning. So when you start learning more and being humble, because it humbles you. When people do that to you, it humbles you as a person, because you don't know where it's right, where it's wrong. You don't have anything to measure. Okay, let's say I got 5 black belts. Now I have 0 black belts. That means I'm 0. I'm not 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
then I realized that I wasn't. It's the journey, the message that these guys were sending me were that I have to even become better, stronger, more wise as a coach, and that gave me the power to become who I am today. So I consider those guys my teachers.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and the purpose for them to be with me was for me to learn that lesson. Now,
what the lesson that you are not doing it now at Mat 05, in a business wise, in a coaching wise?
Business is completely different than the coaching, and it's very difficult for you to separate that you own a business and you have to be a coach. So you kind of like have to be a father, but you have to charge the son to be in your class. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
totally.
very,
Yeah. I'm with
it's
you.
very difficult. You have to take care of a person, and sometimes you have to give a break to a person, and you have to charge a person, but they're both your kids.
Yes.
They're both your students. So business, the first lesson that I learned is that I have to separate business from coaching. And I have to separate the coaching into two parts, which is the technical part and the coaching for life part.
Nice.
Those are two different things, you know. The technical part, I can teach you and YouTube can teach you. But only the master in the coaching with the years of experience that we have is the one that can fine tune you to make your journey shorter and more efficient. That's what people don't understand. This is the most important message of this podcast. People don't understand that they can learn position from anywhere, from everywhere, sitting at home. But for you to make your journey more efficient and for you to reach a higher level in jiu-jitsu, you have to have somebody on top of you that's higher, that takes care of you. If that doesn't happen, do not dream that you're going to reach that. And I've seen that in Jordan a lot. I've seen a lot of talented people not reach their full potential because when they got the black belt, they thought they know it all.
Yeah, coach, you don't have this. And to be honest, now you lived in Brazil, you born and grew up in Brazil, and you took your black belt in Brazil, maybe until maybe 2 dan or 3 dan in Brazil. So do you have this? Do you have this in Brazil?
No.
What
in Brazil,
I see,
exactly the opposite. In Brazil, it's an honor for you to have somebody higher than you, a master on top of you, and for you to represent that lineage. Like today, I wear Fabrício everywhere. All my shirts, everything that I have in the gym has Fabrício.
with honor.
With honor.
Yeah,
Every single piece.
with honor, like you're a black belt 5 degrees. Maybe you should put your name Sami Jamal big, and that's it. But that's the things, that's the message, with honor.
Yes, my name in the Middle East is bigger than Fabrício.
Yes.
Sami Jamal is bigger. Not many people know Fabrício.
Even me, I don't know. I know that your lineage is to the guy, but always I forget his name because I didn't meet him. I don't know him.
Yeah, and people go, which team is this, Fabrício? It's not. Why aren't you Atos or Checkmate? I can be Atos, I can be Checkmate, I can be any team in the world, but this is the best team in the world.
For you,
to me, this is the best team in the world. And if I don't carry this with pride, there is no team. Exactly. I don't wanna go there and buy a team. Imagine this, Ammar, that I go there and I buy a team. I wear like a brand.
Yeah,
and people think they're fine.
Yeah,
they think that's fine.
This is marketing. They're gonna bring them more money. I think, in my point of view, with with the age I have, I think it's. I wanna just find a nice word because I don't want kids to hear this. It's like a bullshit marketing.
People are selling you a dream. With all due respect. Okay, these teams are amazing. What they accomplish are amazing. I might never accomplish what these big teams accomplish.
But they are not your team. But they are not your team. You are not belong to them.
Who are you to them?
You're nothing.
Who are you to them? And you take a big team like this and you go there and you go into a room where 50 black belts there trained all their lives together and you have their brand.
Yeah.
Who are you to them?
Maybe
you're a business.
Maybe they will meet you and somewhere in the world they will not even recognize you.
No, they won't recognize you. They're going to recognize their patch,
yeah,
but they don't know who is this guy.
No, even if you're wearing a jeans and t-shirt, they will not recognize you.
And for me to have my coach in Brazil all the time, that I call him, coach, look, this happened. This case here, you have more experience. He tells me what he thinks is right. So many times I don't believe him. because I don't understand, because I'm not in that level. He's been in the game for me for the longest time, and ends up being 100% right all the time. For you to have that kind of person next to you and you're loyal
consultant.
to them.
It's a consultant.
Consultant ولوyalty. يعني هلا إذا بحكي مع فابريسيو بكرة, tomorrow he opens up the airport, he'll come here, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the loyalty, that's the friendship. This is the level.
But why we don't have it here? Why we don't have it, not in Jordan, to be honest, why we don't have it in all Arab countries? If they allow me to say this, because I know we don't have it.
Habibi, I'm going to get into politics a little bit here. Look at the Arab world, and look the situation the Arabs are towards the world.
Yeah, we are not union, we are individuals.
We as Arabs are not united.
Yeah, you're not united.
We as one people are not united in the same country. And we had everything. We had money, oil, everything, and we're still behind people that had much less than us.
Exactly.
So it's a cultural thing, you know, it's a cultural thing. Here, we believe that if I tell you that you're ahead of me, on top of me, I owe you something. I have to bow to you like a slave, not like somebody that respects you and is willing to be hand to hand with you in the journey. So the splits happen everywhere. Yani the biggest teams in the world split and they became big teams. And if you think about Checkmat, is a split of Alliance.
Yes.
There used to be Alliance, you know. The other teams, they've been splitting left and right. Even the Americans now, it's a different even thing. It's more business oriented.
But coach, they split and they continue. For us, we split this. The guys, they split and they lost and they get lost. And the guys, like, they goes because the guy, he is what the owner for Checkmat, his name, I forget his name, the founder. Vieira, he was Alliance, then he left, but he opened Checkmat, but he continued as a Checkmat. So, but our guys, they goes, some of them, they go jump to other academies, jump to other names. Why? They are not belong to those academies.
حفلة
بالضبط حفلة. And if you allow me to, that happens to me, you know, Carlos, Olavo, and Suyan. I think you know them.
Yeah.
I was a purple belt. I don't know why, but they kept me 5 years in a purple belt. They don't want to give me a brown belt. Even Alex Baz, Mohammed Jihad, and other guys, Brazilians, they told him, give Ammar a brown belt. They said he's not ready yet. I know that they don't want to give a brown belt to me because of some politics happens here. Politics in Jiu-Jitsu, I mean. Then a lot of my friends, they left to other academies. I don't want to mention their names. Another names, they came as visitors from outside. Big names, Gracie. They got black belts from them. They said, Ammar, just let's go take a brown belt and black belt from them. As Ammar, at that time, I said, no, guys, I don't want to take a black belt from someone. He will not recognize me. Just give me a black belt in a ceremony, but if he saw me in a European, he would not know that I'm a student. I refused. I stayed with my coaches. With my coach, which is the main coach I started with him, is Olavo Obrio. He's in Thailand now. I stayed with him until he gives me my brown belt. Yeah. 5 years in a purple belt. I said, no, I don't care. Even the guys that behind me, they got black belts before than me. I said, I don't care. A belt is just to wear my kimono.
Exactly.
After that, when they left the country, I get my black belt from Alex Baz, which is the same lineage. I didn't just, and the guys, they tell me, Ammar, let's go as a marketing, get a Checkmat or Alliance, with all the respect to them. I said, no, guys, but they are not my lineage. I cannot go. I don't know them. And unfortunately, in Arabs, we have it a lot.
Yeah, man. This is what people don't understand. Yani, they're taking jiu-jitsu here to a different level, whereas we should be just the opposite. If you look at the history of the Arabs, we conquered the world, man.
Yes.
And you have to have organization, loyalty, discipline to be able to achieve that, you know? And all of a sudden, in the last 100 years, we became like, people look down to us. So then you get a beautiful martial arts like jiu-jitsu, where you can fight equally in the same way as anybody else in the world. And then you have the knowledge and you have the experience of great coaches here in the Middle East, and you decide to go by yourself to fight this war. You know, if we all Jordanians went together and trained in one gym, maybe we have a chance to fight as equals outside. But other than that, we split, and everybody becomes a coach from blue belt on. And we have like so many schools now, and we're weak as a national sport. We're weak.
Exactly.
And
comparing to the world, yes, all Arabs
we're
are
weak.
weak.
Yeah, and we're lying. And we're lying with the news and stupid news that we're doing well. No, we're lying, man.
No, if we do it well, then we're gonna find some Arabs just taking the world and a black belt others. We don't have any Arabs even getting even the bronze medal. Since jiu-jitsu started in all Arab countries until now, we don't have this Arab, right?
We don't have an Arab except in the masters. The
masters, yeah. But but coach, you came from Brazil. You're Arab, but you came from Brazil. Let's be clear about this. You have the ethics of a sport of jiu-jitsu, not the one that we have it in our countries.
Yeah. صح. 100%.
Yeah. And coach, also, I want you just to explain. Some jiu-jitsu fighters or participants in any clubs, they think that the coach job is just to give the class for 1.5 hours and leave. They don't know that the coach job is just to know, as even the girls, they told me this, Lama and Rana. Lama told me that from day one, Coach Sami told me, you're gonna play a half guard. That's your style.
Yeah.
Even I have it in my academy. People, they think when I tell them just focus on half guard. No, coach, I want to go for spider guard. And end up him in the fight, he tries guard spider. Then when he's trapped, he goes for the things that he is body naturally goes to it, which is half guard. I want just a message from a master, close to be a coral belt, to the Arab and to the other guys who is listening to the even, because in our countries that there is a lot of expats. What's the coach message? Coach message is not just to give the class for an hour. Tell you maybe you need conditioning. You're weak. You're not strong. You need to focus. Your style is half guard. Your style is spider guard. Your style is what?
حبيبي, احنا with the years that we train jiu-jitsu, we're encyclopedia. We are like half doctors, half coaches.
So I'm gonna call myself now. Like half D.
We're half doctors, half coaches, and then the next day we're half psychiatrists, half brothers. Then the next day we're doing half guards, and the next day we're doing a spider guard. So we've been through everything because jiu-jitsu is times on the mat. There is nothing that you can cheat in jiu-jitsu because it's time on the mat. If you have time on the mat, you can be the hardest working person in the gym. You're gonna be a great fighter. But if you don't have time on the mat and you have all the talent in the world, you're not gonna be a great fighter. So exactly. We acquire all this through years. We're a sea of information. So people come to me to ask me if you should marry that girl. That's not part of my job description as a coach. So when we we decide to be strategists because we see the body, we understand the movement, we see the potential of that person, we see the strength, we see everything with one eye. We see like 10 things with that person that he can be, and that person doesn't see it and is not ready to even listen. So he has to believe. So this right there is the problem. People in the Arab world have a hard time believing with their own free will. So when you coach somebody into a strategy, it takes a long time and they waste a lot of time believing. They're not going to understand. They're still new. So they have to believe. That's the problem. When a Russian coach tells a person to jump and flip and the person flips, it's because they believe. They have to believe in the person. When an American athlete, that coach tells me, you have to go do this, and they go and do it without even arguing, because they believe. So the problem here is that we acquire so much knowledge, and that's why sometimes the best coach is not the best team, or other way around, is because people are not ready to understand that, and they don't believe. That's the problem.
Totally with you. Totally with you, coach. Now, how we can? You said, I know, in between your talks, you said that this is the only way to develop the jiu-jitsu in Arab countries. A message from a coach to the students that are still young, to the new generation in jiu-jitsu. Just what the steps they have to do, even for the adults, to follow and to be a good fighter or a high-level, A-level fighter.
To be a high-level fighter,
Yes.
to reach the top?
Yes, yes, coach.
And very simple. We start very simple. For you to reach the top, you have to train like the top fighters. And you cannot reach the top. And I see that a lot in the Arab country. I want to be, okay. All right. Now you have to train like the top fighters. How is it to train like the top fighters? It's training 3 times a day without burning yourself out. Can you train 3 times a day without burning yourself out? Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. So I said, but they do this for years. They do this for their whole life. You cannot think that you are going to be a top fighter in the world if you don't put the same hard work as the guy that's going to compete with you the first fight, the second fight, and the third fight. Okay? Exactly. The second part is people have to understand and they have to believe on the mentality that we are not subhumans as Arabs. We are not worse than anybody and we're not better than anybody. We're just like anybody. And this thing that in our culture that everybody owes us something instead of us working for it is something that has to change on the people's mentality. I am equal as anybody else. I have the chance to win like anybody else, but I have to do the same work like everybody else does to reach that goal. Okay?
Well said,
the third thing is there is no way for you to reach a higher level if you don't believe and you trust the process of which the person that is in the higher level of you is teaching you. We're just talking about it now. Meaning, I cannot reach from A to B if I don't listen to the person that is here and went through A, B, C, D, E. So if I don't listen to this person, I might reach here, but I'm never gonna reach here. Why?
Because he had this journey. He had that. He faces the obstacles in that journey.
Yeah, Habibi, and like I said, the black belt, you're seeing from here. You have the hawk's eye. You see everything that's happening. The person is here. He just sees it here. He doesn't see it here. So if he doesn't believe in this, he's not going to get here.
Like what you are doing, you are a 5-degree black belt. Still, there's a lot of things that you are consulting your head coach, your master Fabricio.
Yes.
Yes.
And if you believe it or not, I have more than 300 or 400 giga of instructionals in my video, and I know how to do the berimbolo, which is not a part of my game or my generation, so I can teach my students. And I know how to do all the old school stuff that nobody heard about it now, you know. So I'm a student of the game. I still study 1 to 2 hours every day. I watch YouTube. I watch fights. I study. I dissect it. And the same thing with MMA. I have to study and dissect it because MMA changes every month.
Exactly. Coach, let's go now for jiu-jitsu. In my opinion, jiu-jitsu is a journey from white to black. And when you enter black, you are a white belt in a black belt.
Mm-hmm.
Just can you talk about this subject, if you agree with me or not?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the funniest thing is like from white to black, where I have to get that black belt. I have to finish. I want to train. I was training like 6 hours a day. I train in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. I train in the afternoon, and I train at night.
I want to rest. When I reach the black belt, I want to rest. I want to just chill.
I want to get that black belt, because when I get my black belt is the key of knowledge. I'm going to know everything, you know, and I'm going to know everything. This is like a very nice thing for us, just to keep this part of the video so I want to know. It's a little story. So I want to know everything. I want to go there and get the black belt. And now I'm a black belt. I know it all. I've been through it all. Khalas.
Yeah.
Okay. So the day of my black belt. So I went there. The coach, you have to do the black belt. He did the test, everything. I got the black belt. Boom. I went home excited. I went to sleep. I woke up. I went the next day. First, I have a target in my head, in my body, which I have a black belt, and everybody wants to test me because I got the black belt. Second, I understood that the knowledge that I have is now I know that I don't know anything.
Yeah.
That was the message and the learning of what I learned when I got to the black belt. You know, and that's why at the time when they started jiu-jitsu, there was no belts. You would use one belt. You used to get dirty, very, very dirty. By the time that it got so dirty that you cannot use it anymore, the guy would give you the black belt. You know?
Yeah, that's very funny.
So I after I went through the whole experience from white to black, I understood that is the beginning of the journey, because I don't know anything. I'm just a fighter that knows some moves and knows how to train, knows how to defend himself in the street, and knows how to take care of himself. But the journey has just begun.
Yeah, it had just begun, exactly.
Yeah. So that's the way to the black belt. Now the black belt and the dance. The most important dan for as a career as a black belt is the second dan to me, because now you can give black belts. And if you have students that got to the black belt, you consider yourself already an accomplished person as a martial artist, because you're creating people that are also professors. And that's something very important. But every dan, and I'm a 5 dan, what does that mean in reality? It means I'm an old guy training jiu-jitsu, you know. Yeah, and that means that you have a lot of experience, and every dan that you get, the spectrum opens. The spectrum is like this now,
yeah.
You know. It was like this, then it became like this, and it gets you more excited to train more. And it's not easy, Ahmad. For me at my age, I'm going to be 54 this month.
God bless you, Coach. God bless you.
To go around the world and compete when our bodies are made of like glass. You know, you have to be smart in training. You have to be smart in preparing. You have to be smart with your food.
And everything, Coach.
Yeah. And then you can give all that knowledge to your students. Hick, al-Safi. Al-Safi. Chewed up. Here,
free,
yeah, here, man, you take this. And when people don't hear that, how can they think they can get somewhere?
Yeah. Okay, coach, I want to ask you about something now. It's not an Arab word, but it's because it's a lot in Arab in our region. Now, MAC belts, like, because Jiu-Jitsu still is new in Arab world, maybe 10 or 15 years or 20 years. Now people from other sports, they want to wear belts easy. So sometimes we can see a lot of cases, people, they put their belts in by themselves, or he's training in X country, he go jump to other country because they have a seminar and he talk to them and they want them to give them like a blue or purple or brown or black belt. Why we have this? And what's the solution to stop this?
Well, Jiu-Jitsu became very commercial, around the world. At the end of the day, the coaches have to pay their bills. They have to pay, put food on the family's table. And it goes back to your principles as a coach. You want to sell out your name, because you're selling out your name as a coach when you give a belt to somebody that does not deserve, and he's wearing your belt and he's carrying your legacy as a coach. If you don't think like that, that means that you don't have a legacy, and it's not going to last long, and people are not going to remember who you are and what you did in that martial arts. So that lahalu, by natural selection, kills you when you make a weak base of people that don't deserve that belt. Now, as far as people that they just go there and wear the fake belt, when they go home and they sleep, they know that they're fake. They know that they're not testing themselves inside the mats. They always have an excuse. It's gonna be a short-lived experience, very short-lived experience, and sad, because you're gonna be a failure without even trying. You didn't even try to get a belt, and you got a belt, and you know that you're a failure. You're just lying to yourself as a person. So it's a very sad situation for them, not for us. For us in Jiu-Jitsu, that's not a problem. You can do whatever you want. You have Rolex and you have fake Rolex. Some people like to wear the fake Rolex. Some people like to wear the Rolex. But some people like to wear the Casio. That's not as much as the Rolex, but he bought it with pride, So if you want to be the guy that wears the fake Rolex, that's your life, that's your journey, But people like us, we know. We know. We look at that person, and he knows that we know.
And even coach, our country is a small country. The people surrounding him, he knows. So how he can look at someone's eyes, and the amount of respect he's getting is like, it's nothing.
Yeah, we know.
We know.
You don't want to get respect of the white belt that doesn't know anything about the sport. You want to get the respect of the master that understands what it takes, of the coach that understands what it takes to be there, And to me, when I'm into MMA a lot, because it's a test for myself as a coach to get an Arab to reach the highest level. So when these coaches from outside, they come and respect me, and they know who I am, they know the work that I'm doing, and my student submits somebody in the MMA, which it's not easy, and from the bottom, from the guard in MMA, this guy comes and he knows who you are. He gives you the respect. I want the respect from that guy. I don't want the respect from the guy that puts a brown belt and gives himself a title, and he goes and runs a federation in his country, and he thinks that he's good because of he has the title and he has the belt, but he doesn't test himself. That person does not open our hearts and our eyes. It doesn't make us feel like we should respect him in any way. So it's their loss.
Exactly. Coach, there's a lot of guys, they are contacting you that they want belts or this thing. We don't want to mention names, But do you receive some messages, some calls that can I get a belt under you or stuff like this?
You can call me?
No, I mean not me. I mean you are receiving a call or a message, from people like they want black belts or they want like blue or purple belts.
Yeah, I have so many people from all over the world, and my Muslim brothers that they feel like we have the Muslim connection. They call me. I want a black belt from you, from a Muslim brother, and I want this. And I say, man, it doesn't work like this. I'm sorry. You're gonna be carrying my name. And I always tell them the same thing. I said, what do you want? I said, I want you to come here, live in Jordan, train with me, and stay with me, and you keep training with me every year, and then I'll give you the black belt. They usually quit. There's one guy that didn't quit. He's a purple belt from Kazakhstan. From Dagestan, and he comes every year here and he trains with me, and he's gonna soon get his black belt. But he did the whole thing. He's gonna do He's doing the hard work.
That's even
and
coach.
He's a next wrestler.
Yeah, and even coach is if you want to follow the Islam rules, we shouldn't give belts for free because it's an amana. It's something that we have to give it for the guys that deserve. Like as a teacher, you cannot give a bachelor degree or an extra mark for someone because he is only a Muslim brothers, which is this is fake, and this is unrespectable to anyone even.
Yeah, of course. And what message are you giving to your students?
Yeah, I give belts for someone I don't know, and maybe he didn't deserve it.
Yeah, it's a problem, man. It's a real problem. It's a responsibility and problem. You're giving somebody, when they finish, they're like doctors. They study as much as doctors.
Exactly. Top coach. Now let's jump on another subject, which is the federation in Jordan.
We're going so well, man. Why do we have to get to that?
No, you know what? No, as a Jordanian and as an Arab, I'm a lover for Jiu-Jitsu. And when I talk to the girls, I understood that there is, and I can see it by myself, to be honest, that why all the national team of Jordan, they are from one club or from one entity. Why? Did they have like this qualifications to get like the fighters who win will be qualified to be the national team as should be in all over the world?
Habibi, nothing is clear. Yes, they went to the tryouts for the team, and they went to the tryouts and they won the tryouts. Okay, some people didn't go to the tryouts and became part of the national team. Some people lost in the tryouts and became not part of the national team. And some people like Lama and Rana are champions, multi-champions, and they found a way of getting them out of the national team.
About the other boys, did you have any boys from your team or other teams in Jordan that
So everything is played, Ammar, in a way that goes specifically against our team. For example, it's a fact, and I saw that they picked up their training way before the federation announced that there was going to be a trial. So they already knew that there's going to be a trial way before any other team.
There is nothing in the agenda in the federation that this month there will be a tryout for choosing the national team?
So this is like one of the first complaints that we have. They don't have an agenda, and whatever they write in the agenda, they don't follow. So it's open. It's an open thing that is and it's sent on Facebook that there is a trial. So all these things, man. Let's say that we're not able to get to the level of UAE. Okay, it's a very simple solution. Let's work together. Let's get the experience. So the more you work together, you don't have a guy like me saying that what you're doing is wrong. Because if I'm part of it, then I cannot say that. And if all the teams that are important in Jordan are part of it and they deserve to be there, then we all work together, you know. But unfortunately, they find ways, and I would love to have a conversation like this with the federation here. I had a very good conversation with Zid Abu Saud. We had a meeting, we talked about jiu-jitsu for 3 hours. We had so much fun. Okay, but nothing happened after that, you know. And Zid Abu Saud, I feel, is doing a great job in the team, trying to manage all the situations and the problems that there is there. But there is fairness? No, there is no fairness. And we've been saying that for the longest time. And the final blow was for them to find a way to kick out the girls from the national team.
Okay, it happens, coach, in that one of your team boys get he went to the qualifications and he got this first or second, and they didn't choose him to be part of the national team.
We were never ready, Ahmad. We were never ready. We know at the last minute. So I have people that work. I have people that train.
Coach, what do you mean here by last minute? A week or 2 weeks or a month or 2 months or?
It was it was like 2 weeks.
Wow.
I think it was 2 weeks the last time that happened. And remember, I never had boys. I was always focusing on the teams of females because I always wanted the women to have a voice in jiu-jitsu, much more important than men. So I never really had, I had 2 teams split. I have people that were my students that are part of the national team, but they're not part of my team anymore, you know? So basically is...
why they choose those guys? Because they win in the qualifier or what?
Yeah, I think so. I think they won the qualifier, and they deserve. I'm not saying that the people that are there on the federation, and if you want to talk about it, probably are the best fighters in jiu-jitsu in Jordan at the moment. What I'm saying is the process is unfair.
You have to be fair to give the chance for the others to give their chance to maybe win or maybe lose, but they have to get their chance to go for the qualifier, right? That's what's your point of view, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like for example, I have people that went against all the odds. They went to the qualifier and they lost. So the next time they didn't want to go again because they felt the corruption in the whole process.
Yeah, because I spoke myself to Zaid Abu Saud that there are some guys, I have a Jordanian guys training at my team. One of them is my brother. He's a Maluku. Muhammad, you know him. He want to go. When I spoke to Abu Saud, he told me, Ammar, they can come in the qualification. If they win, they allow the guys that are living outside Amman or Jordan, they're living in Abu Dhabi, to give them a chance to represent. And the guys, they are, to be honest, they said, they're most welcome. They said, yeah, they're welcome to come. But Corona happens, I think they stopped it.
No, what about the people that live outside that don't go to the qualifiers and they're part of the national team? You have people there. I know
this. We have to sit and we have to talk to them. Because to be honest, look, I coach, I born in UAE.
And then you have very good guys.
Fadal, coach.
You have very good guys in the UAE that are not part of the national team, that are Jordanians.
Yeah, there is, yeah, because like I can, if you allow me to say this, and I want the Jordanians and the Emiratis just to forgive me. When we start jiu-jitsu in UAE, we start almost together with Jordan. I was living here So I consider myself part of UAE. We work together. The Jordanian is going very, 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 very fast. We are following them. Like maybe you have some individuals better than, but if majority, no, Jordanian was higher. Maybe Emirati, then Bahraini become the third and fourth, Kuwaiti, if they allow me. But now, Emiratis goes very, very, very fast, far away from the Jordanians. If we're gonna get not individuals, I want everyone to understand me as a whole team, as the concept, as the process. We are the Emiratis now. They're far away from all over the world, to be honest. And Arabs quality-wise, fighters quality-wise, especially those young 16, 17, 18, 19, all those guys, they're killer. The process here
they're beating
is amazing.
Black belts on these JJIF tournaments. They're beating black belts.
Yeah. So all this obstacles, they kills it. In Jordan, still, we should be equal. Now people, they will say, okay, money-wise, financially, it's not about this. I think it's about the process and just working, and the target is Jordan.
You have to give hope to people. Those kids that are like killers in Brazil, they come from social projects. They don't come from the rich families, okay? But the social projects, they have investment. And I have 5 social projects here, okay? But the social projects here is more difficult than in Brazil, because I cannot even get those kids quality food for them to be able to train twice a day.
Wow.
And those kids sometimes have to help the family to support them financially. They don't have money to come to the gym, so we go there. But we still maintain these 5 projects, And but the social projects in Brazil brings the best champions in the world right now. The problem with Jordan is not that the UAE has money and Jordan doesn't have money, because the budget for Jordan of 70,000 plus the money that the Olympic Committee gives them, man, you can create an army of fighters, because you have to give hope to the people that have a wall behind them and the water in front of them. They have no way out. Those are the people that are going to bring championships. Mish the elite of Jordan that is training, but they're not training for their lives. You want people that are training for their lives. The jiu-jitsu is their salvation. You know what I mean? And that is not what the federation is doing, and this is what they should be doing. I have a very, very sad case. I'm going to give you a very sad case of what happened. So we have a school in Petra, we have a school in Taiba, we have a school in Ajloun, through my direct guys, but they all compete under fit jiu-jitsu. So when I used to bring them, I used to get first in all the tournaments. And there's no way that anybody can get. So they started getting upset because they also are black belts in judo. They're part of the judo federation here. So the judo federation comes to them and gives them mats. Any school that opens, the judo federation gives them mats. Okay. So a kid, there's a kid there. He was amazing, man. The kid was amazing, crazy judo. This kid is going to go to the Olympics. And he went to the tournament here. He destroyed every kid in less than 10 seconds.
Wow.
But by then, he started growing, and he said, he called me. The coach said, I want you to talk to Master Sami. He goes, Coach, how come we don't know? And in judo, we know when is going to be the tasfiyat. We know when people are going to compete. We know that we have to train to get to the national team. In jiu-jitsu, we don't know anything. I don't know anything about jiu-jitsu, and I don't know how I can I said, what's your dream? My dream is one day to be in the airplane. That's his dream.
Wow.
Okay, and then he goes and tells me, you know what, coach, jiu-jitsu is not fair. The competition is not fair. They're not treating us equally. I'm gonna switch to judo. That broke my heart. I tell that story to everybody because you took a kid that has a potential of becoming a world champion just by the way he is. Already has at the age of 12 unbelievable judo. Just needs to learn jiu-jitsu, and this quit because the federation is not doing their job. Yani, they can you can have a podcast with them, you know, but and we talked about this in the other podcast. And in reality, they're not doing the job for the people that need. You know, the people that need, those people that are going to bring medals. يعني هلا مثلا سيدي عباس, Prince Abbas is a black belt under me. Okay. And he's the head of the boxing federation. And he's a very correct man. And in the space of 3 years, he's putting 5 boxing people in the Olympics. 5. Yeah. It's the first time ever Jordan in a single sports put 5 people in the Olympics.
Wow.
His budget is nothing compared to what the boxing world is, you know?
Yeah.
But he was able to do it because he has the right mind. He's working correctly. He got the right. And I can sit here all day and talk about the federation, but the best thing that they can do is to, and I'm not saying this in a way that I'm complaining to them or they don't know any better. What I'm saying is, let's sit together, discuss the problems, and fix all this together as one country, not teams trying to use benefit from the federation or having the power of federation. And I don't want to say names, but the people use the federation name for their own benefit, you know, and that's not right. That's not right. That is something that is for the country. It's for the poor people. It's a federation for a reason. It's for to get those people from the small places to be able to get chances to reach. And the people that reach there, you should treat them the best way you can.
Sorry, coach?
Yes, I finished.
Okay. I love it, coach. I can do it every day with you. Honestly, I love it. I can do it every day, inshallah. But I took the promise from you is we will do something for ADCC, because the stories that I don't think so. Any of the guys that now they are in a jiu-jitsu, they know nothing about the ADCC. I was organizer. I knew zero about jiu-jitsu that time. Zero. You was black belt. I was literally even not a jiu-jitsu fighter, but I was an organizer, and I loved it a lot. So inshallah we'll talk to you to have some memories about jiu-jitsu, about ADCC.
Maybe yeah, I can talk with you every day, buddy. You know, this is a very good channel to teach people how to at least think about the things that are happening with jiu-jitsu, and maybe learn from somebody that's an Arab that has been learned from the source in Brazil and travels all over the world competing. Maybe sometimes this would help people see it in a different eye and not follow the follower. We're following the follower here. We're not following the people that are the top people in the Middle East. We're following the follower, and that gets very bad results for us in the future in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and this is I have a message for. I know maybe I have a lot of students. They are not Arabs. They're gonna watch this because especially it's in English. But this is a message for the Arab student that I have. Once Sami Jamal, through a common friend, Monzer Abu Abeid, is a Jordanian consultant in Abu Dhabi. Coach Sami, he want to give me a gi, a kimono. Two taf, I think. I told Coach Sami, please, I want one thing. I want your logo to be in that kimono because I want to wear it with a bride and honor. Because we are Arab, and I get bigger if I follow the guys. He's from my same nation, he's from my same country or my same languages. But this is the message I want to just say to all Arab, because we are not united at all. You can say 90% we are not united. We work in our clubs as we are in the war. As we are in a war, I want to kill, or some clubs, they want to kill the other clubs. We can grow together. If we have a big foundation, we can have a big pyramid. If we have a small foundation, our pyramids will be small. This is a message I would like to spread it to all Arabs. We are the only nation in the world, from Gulf to the ocean, speak the same language, and we have the same heritage, and we have the same culture.
And we have the best genetics. We have the best genetics for jiu-jitsu.
We have the best genetics, but unfortunately, we are not united. We are not all of us selfish and pride and ego for nothing. At the end,
for free.
For free. At the end, thank you, Coach Sami. If you want to say something, I would like to hear something. But I thank you. I thank you a lot about this, and inshallah, this podcast will get some attention for the jiu-jitsu community in all Arab world.
Yeah, I think that this should be your starting statement also in the beginning, because it's a very important message for people that train jiu-jitsu, who sometimes, one person once told me something very interesting. The white belt doesn't know any better. So he ends up following what people are saying, and he's like in a world that he doesn't understand. So maybe listening to podcasts like this, they might understand it from the point of view of a master that doesn't. People at my level don't talk much in reality. They've talked so much their whole life. They have other people to talk for them. So take this advantage to talk and to listen and understand what jiu-jitsu is and what's the importance of jiu-jitsu in the Arab world for us as Arabs and for us as a whole one nation.
Thank you, Coach. Inshallah, we'll see you soon in another podcast.
Habibi, thank you.
Thank you, Coach Sami. Love you, man. I love it.
لا تنسوا الاشتراك بقناة اليوتيوب الخاصة بريال توك وذ عمار ومشاركة هذه الحلقة مع أصدقائكم. دمتم بألف خير.